Hello everyone, my name is DragonNinja24 and today I'm going to show you how to make batteries. This tutorial is for advanced players because you need a couple of things before. The first thing you're going to need is premium. You can see if you press M identity if you have the premium license activated. You can find the premium license at the spawn point right here. There's gonna be a shop, this shop, and you can buy premium for 50 million or 100 skill level tokens, which you acquire by leveling up those tokens. So that is the first requirement. The second requirement you are gonna need are 2 train yards. The first train yard is called Mirror Park. It's this business over here, Train Yard Mirror Park. You need to buy this. It costs 80 million and it's located near the Legion Square garage, pretty close. The second train yard you're gonna want is the Sandy Shores train yard. This train yard will come in handy for the process later. And before we start, let's have a look on how we actually make batteries. Click on the trucker page, scroll down to this picture, press it a couple of times and it should expand like this. And you can see the batteries down here, 2 zinc, 8 acid and 4 refined solder. If you need help with the ratios, make sure to get from the Tycoon Discord a calculator sheet, so it will tell you how much you take to your trailer and how much of each you need in runs to complete the amount of batteries you want. Just use a sheet, don't calculate it yourself. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna take care of is to grind for the solder. For the solder, it's located over here. You need scrap lead and refined aluminium. We simply start with recycled trash and everything will come together later. So step 1 is the recycled trash. Open your map. I'm already at the location. The map lib is called Recycling Center. It is located, it's actually where you would do the garbage routes as well, and right above LSIA. So this is the first location you head to. For this video I chose to use a small trailer, so we drive a little faster and we don't have a lot of loading. But in general, if you're new to trucking, you want to listen to what I say next. So obviously you press pick up and it's gonna fill your inventory. Well, then you go to your trailer, access trunk, and it already shows you can use left or right arrow. I generally always use the left arrow to fill my trailer. So right now I'm only pressing left arrow all the time. Okay, our trailer's full. Yeah, pretty small trailer. And the first stop is gonna be Mirror Park. Another thing that you need premium for is dump from truck. You use this option and it says yeah, 7 items moved. And now you can see the total capacity and the 7 trash we just moved into it. Don't forget to move your inventory as well, another 3. So now that we've done step 1, I personally always fill up my train yard and always do 1 step at a time. So you would usually now have this train yard filled up with trash, and of course use the calculator if you need a full train yard. Now you would want to process the trash. So the next step is gonna be we are driving over to this location. Okay, so once you've arrived at the train yard, you're gonna use the option take to trunk, select your trailer, and do a left arrow on the cargo. The left arrow will completely fill up your trailer with the material you want. Do not take any in your inventory, because then you won't be able to process it. From here, to recycle the trash, you want to go to the sorting facility, and as you can see, this distance is fairly short. So here you select recycle trash, then you select take and do one left arrow on take, and now comes the magic into play. On the put all option you select left arrow. This will automatically take stuff after it's processed. And now you've processed your full trailer. Let's drive back to the train yard, and I'm gonna tell you what you can do afterwards. Okay, from here you have two options. You now have scrap aluminium, scrap plastic and scrap tin. We need two of those ingredients. Scrap plastic is not needed. There are two things you can do with the scrap plastic. Option 1 is drive to the Mackenzie airfield and sell the scrap plastic. It will basically just cover the processing cost, so you don't get a lot of money back, but you don't lose any money if you sell it. If you are low on money, sell it, but if you're already good on money, I would suggest to go to your trailer, use the trash option and make a left arrow on scrap plastic, tap to accept, and now we got rid of the scrap plastic. Again, you can sell it, but I prefer not to because it consumes a lot of time. So let's use the dump from truck option again, and now we have aluminium and tin. And now let's take so the next step is gonna be you want to get both of these ingredients down to the faction, and for that sake you can again spawn at the faction. It's gonna be over here, so we're talking about the AT Corp faction. And I'm actually gonna spawn over instead of driving. So imagine you have a full train yard of processed stuff ready now. At the beginning of the video I told you that you need 2 train yards, but if you own a 3rd train yard, this could shorten the process. So it's totally optional to do this. Once you get your truck spawned and attached, of course. Okay, so this option is gonna use the train yard LS terminal. To drive there, you simply drive down straight the road. Okay, so now have a look on the map. We are at this train yard, and our destination is this intersection, because at this intersection we have a faction warp that leads directly to the foundry over here. as you can see, this is pretty quick. I already tried it out. This is the quickest way to the faction warp. You would have two other options though. This is the Mirror Park train yard, which I told you you need. Now if you look at the road, you have to cross bridges, and it's a lot further away. There is this train yard called La Mesa. It's similar to this train yard, range-wise. So from the time, you wouldn't win or lose any time. But I don't like driving into this train yard. So if you just own the Mirror Park, use this Mirror Park and drive down to this intersection. So once you warped in, you would usually just drive and peek out a little bit over here. So your trailer is in range, then hop down, you won't get damaged. Access your storage and use a dump from truck. Now we moved all the items, so I will have a lot of other stuff in here, but remember, you will only have two things in here now, and that's gonna be some where is it? The scrap tin and the scrap aluminium. Those two. Okay, I have a lot more, but you will only have those two. Okay, this is the first step. For batteries, you want to refine aluminium. So what you're gonna do in the faction is you run into the circle again, press refine aluminium, and then use take. And on the scrap aluminium, I think around 60. Yeah, 60 is totally fine. And then you use the left arrow every 3 seconds. Okay, we're not gonna do that. But now your storage is gonna be filled with refined aluminium. Okay, so what's next? We have refined aluminium and we need scrap lead now. But we're not done yet. Let's move to the refined zinc. The refined zinc is made out of quarry rubble. So there are two options to acquire this. The first option to acquire quarry rubble is you go to the quarry over here, take the quarry rubble and filter it over here. But the second option is ask players in chat if they sell the raw ore mix. If they sell the raw ore mix, it's a lot faster and cheaper. And if not, I'm going to show you the next step on what to do. And so once you are in the quarry, you select pick up quarry rubble, and then you're gonna fill up your trailer. The next destination is gonna be the filtering plant. So you can take the quarry rubble. And now let's have a look. We get gravel, raw emeralds and raw ore mix. Your next stop. So if you're grinding this, you will drive forth and back a lot. And right here is a business called Yellowjack for 950k. You want to buy this and you want to store the... Oh, I actually forgot one step. Give me a second. So before you drive over there, you want to process your gravel as well to get sand out of it. So now we make filter gravel. Then we take the gravel. Okay. We need some more. Okay, so you filter the gravel, and that gives you flint and sand. Now you drive back to Yellowjack. So once you arrive at Yellowjack, you will want to store the sand there and the raw emeralds. You could, so the sand, you want to either store it or sell it to players. The raw emeralds you could actually take with you, because they are sold in the city. But for now I'm gonna put all, and then take the stuff back to the trunk that I want. I want the raw ore mix. Oh, I actually had a lot of raw ore mix in here already. And you could take the raw emeralds as well. Because, let's have a look. The raw emeralds are sold over here in the jewelry store. So you could drive from the Mirror Park to this store. So what you wanna do now, because now you have raw ore mix in your pockets. Best option would be either you buy this train yard, but it's not necessary, because then you could store the raw ore mix here and pick up the next quarry rubble for your next round. Or you drive over here to the train yard and send. So now we moved all the raw ore mix back to the faction, which means it will appear here. And you select the option refine raw ore mix, and then you are gonna refine all the raw ore mix. And for refining raw ore mix you will get refined zinc and refined copper. The refined zinc we're gonna need. The refined copper we can sell. If you have a look over here, the LS export. Here you can sell your refined copper. This will give you some extra cash. But I'm not gonna do that, because this is not a tutorial on how to sell copper. So, now let's have a quick look at batteries. We have refined zinc and we have refined aluminium over here. The last thing missing is acid and the solder itself. And as you can see down here, the toxic waste will give us scrap lead and acid. So this is the last thing we want to farm. You generally have two options to farm acid, because acid is the part that you need the most runs of. You can either pick them up at the LSIA waste depot over here, or you can drive the petrochemical route for acid. You select pickup and you fill up your trailer. Okay, now that we use a bigger trailer, because the other one is on cooldown, I'm just gonna pretend I filled it up. Once your trailer is filled up, you want to drive to Mirror Park. And Mirror Park is basically a straight line. I actually marked the wrong train yard on the map, but you want to mark the Mirror Park. And now you want to fill up your train storage with toxic waste. Take as much toxic waste as the calculator tells you, and it is gonna be the ingredient you need the most of, because you need a lot of acid. Once your train yard is completely filled up with all you need, again you want to spawn at Sandy Shores. Once you arrive at Sandy Shore, fill up your trailer with toxic waste. But only your trailer, and not your inventory. Your next stop from here is gonna be the filtering plant. And you're gonna process and bring everything back to the train yard again. Once you arrive at the filter plant, with your toxic waste in the pockets, you want to filter toxic waste. Then you take out the toxic waste and filter it all. So by filtering you get acid, scrap lead and scrap mercury. Bring all of those ingredients back to the train yard, and when you have a full train yard, this is going to be a cycle of driving back and forth. So once you've done with processing, your train yard should look like this, filled with acid, scrap lead and scrap mercury. And all of these three ingredients go back to the faction storage. So imagine you brought all the stuff over here. You will now have acid, scrap mercury and scrap lead. The first step you still have to do is take scrap lead and aluminium to make solder. So you select refined solder, then you take refined aluminium, a couple, and what did I say, scrap lead, a couple. Yeah, and you're gonna make some solder. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So let's just say in theory, you now have acid, refined solder and refined zinc, and now you would want to use the calculator for the ratios and fill up your truck with zinc, acid and solder so you can make batteries out of it. From the faction, you want to drive to the... oh, well, that's wrong. You want to drive to the factory. So there's one important thing here that I want to mention, but I can't show it because I don't have a truck right now. You press create batteries, then you go to your trunk, and you would have 3 different ingredients right now. What you want to do is you select take, then take zinc. You select take, then take solder, and you select take and take acid. Obviously it's gonna start processing, but now comes the trick. Only do this step once, and then you can press left arrow on put all, and it will automatically take all 3 ingredients again and process it again, so you end up only pressing left arrow making batteries. Okay, so assuming you have a full trailer of batteries made, which I haven't because my truck got instanced, you wanna drive to the LS export and sell your batteries. You select sell batteries times 10, and then you can take out 10 batteries out of your trunk. And that's it for the batteries. I hope you check out my rebar video as well, because in the rebar video we're gonna use stuff from the batteries again. I will go over all the steps again right now, so you have them compressed down, but only in this list. So remember, step 1 would be recycled trash. You pick up the trash, bring the trash to the mirror park. Then from Sandy Shores, you recycle the trash at the sorting facility. You place it back in Sandy Shores, and you can sell the scrap plastic or delete it like I did. Then you have scrap tin and scrap aluminium, which you bring back to the faction storage, because the scrap tin is being used in rebar as well. You refine the aluminium, and move on to step 2. Step 2 is picking up quarry rubble for the raw ore mix, or buying raw ore mix directly from players. Okay, before we continue, I'm gonna die. So, making the quarry rubble would be drive from the quarry to the filter plant and store and refine the gravel to sand and store it at Yellowjack, and store the raw ore mix in the train yard again and get it back to the faction. And then in the faction you can make copper and zinc out of it. The copper you can sell straight, and the zinc you will need later. And step 3, the last step, is pick up toxic waste and drive to the Mirror Park train yard. Then from Sandy Shores drive to the filtering plant, filter it and bring all 3 ingredients back to the train yard and then to the faction storage. And then you can make the refined solder out of the aluminium we already made and the scraplet we gathered. And once you've done that, you own the zinc, the acid and the solder, and you want to make the batteries in the factory itself. Alright guys, that's it. See you another time.